Another interesting one. We have a gentleman right now who is looking at a very unique retail opportunity, and that is in the hair salon business. Now, the reason it's interesting isn't because of the business. The reason is because of the economic model of the way many hair salons work is that the individual practitioners rent a space, a small space, a station they call it. And because of what they'll pay for that compared to what the cost per square foot is, it's a lot. And the yields can be, the cap rates on these can be 12, 15, 20%.
Yeah, and that's common not just in hair salons, but in nail salons are like that. I think some tattoo parlors work that way. So there are industries where you as the landlord may be renting out the entire space to a master tenant, and then they're subleasing individual components, chairs, seats, stations, whatever you call it, to their tenants. Or you could be in the business of doing that directly and not really be in the business of providing the services. They provide the services, but you are in fact the master tenant.
Absolutely. We talked last week a little bit about office. And one of the unique aspects we're seeing of office today is the shared office space. There are these business centers where you can have a membership and you go and have use of the copier and the coffee machine and a meeting space perhaps, maybe a boardroom. Some people actually have small offices in these kinds of buildings. And when you look at what the rental rate per square foot is, those can be super high.
Yeah, that's another kind of niche model, and even if all you're doing is supplying a mailbox because you have so many virtual workers today, think about the dollar per square inch that you're making on just a little mailbox, and you've got 200 of them on a wall, and you're charging $30 or $40 or $50 a month per person for handling and processing their mail. That's a lot of revenue for a small amount of space.
Absolutely. I have a friend who owns several laundromats. Now, today, the laundromat world has changed a lot, but still at a certain socioeconomic level, what many people do is they go to the laundromat with their clothes to wash and dry. I remember when I was young, my next door neighbor, his dad owned one of these, and our job on Friday night was to go and to empty the machines of their money, to count all the money, and to clean the floors and the machines. And we did that every weekend, and we made good money doing it. Think about that business. It's a business that virtually runs itself. Most laundry facilities today that are small commercial laundry facilities are unmanned. There's not anybody there. Depending on what part of town it is, maybe you need somebody there. But again, you've got capital expenditure up front, but then the income is derived in a very different way.
Yeah, I mean, the people doing their own work, right? And that's always a good thing.
What about a car wash? Today, you look at people that want to go and wash the car themselves, right? There's basically two types of car washes, the kind that you drive through, and maybe they're even enhanced with people that come out and dry and really high service. And then there's the quick, throw the quarters in the machine and hose off your car.
Kiosks is another one. You can take up little pieces of space in somebody else's. You can set up an ATM machine somewhere, and you may not be the ATM machine operator. You're just leasing 2 square feet or 4 square feet in some place, and if you have traffic in your retail center or wherever, and you can pick up some revenue from that. Vending is another variation on that same theme. The point is, in kind of all these little niches, is you can extract quite a bit of revenue from a very small amount of space that is going otherwise unused. And you don't necessarily have to be the operator or the maintainer of the piece of equipment. You can cut a deal with the person who's doing that because they need to give you a piece of the action to be in your space. What you're bringing is the physical space and the traffic.
So that's a great point, because in a couple of other areas that we're going to talk about today, there's a difference between the owner and the operator.
Right.
Take the hair salon example. You might be the hair salon owner and operator, and you have a hair station and you just rent out the other ones. And that's a model that works. But as a landlord, you may say, no, I just want to find that one person. That's my tenant. And the fact that they can derive a lot of income from their stations means I can charge a little higher rent than if I leased it out to some other business.
Absolutely. I think the bigger concept here to get your mind around is just the idea that it's a good idea to understand the entire food chain from the time the money is created through the person who's ultimately using whatever the product or service is, all the way up until the owner of the real estate. And there might be multiple parties in that food chain. You can own the whole food chain, or you can pick pieces of it to be a part of. And that's just a matter of your personal investment philosophy and where you want to play.
We're talking about ways